Guys, we're going to be doing a quick review of the order of operations so that you can remember how to do problems that have multiple different math operations embedded in them. The order of operations gives us rules that we have to follow as mathematicians that tell us how to solve the problem so that we would come up with the same answer that somebody else would. Without these rules, we could potentially be coming up with very different answers. So when I taught you this initially, I taught you an acronym, which is the first letter of different words to help you remember it. So here's the acronym that I taught you for an order of operations. It was called GEMDAS, and that is G, E, M, D, A, S. This acronym stands for the following words. Groupings. Groupings are things like brackets. Those are those kind of square brackets that you see. And sometimes inside of square brackets, you can see things in parentheses. Okay? E stands for exponents. Exponents are those little numbers that we see floating up in the air, like 10 to the third power, which really just means 10 times 10 times 10. Okay? It means to take the exponent, use that number to decide how many times to multiply the base. So if it's a 3, we're going to take the base and multiply 10 3 different times. 10 times 10 times 10. If this was a 5, it would have been 5 times 5 times 5. Okay. Multiplication is our next operation in order, followed by division, addition, and finally subtraction. Okay? Now, a couple of these operations have something special to remember about them. Multiplication and division, and then addition and subtraction. Multiplication and division are kind of equal to each other. You do whichever one you come to first in the equation when you're reading from left to right. Then you move on to addition and subtraction because they're next in the GEMDAS rules, but they're also equal. So you do whichever one you come to first when you're reading left to right in the equation. Okay, so that's the special thing to remember about those particular operations. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and erase, and I'm going to give you a couple of examples on the board solving some equations with the order of operations. If I have a problem like this, 2 plus 3 times 5. Okay, I'm going to put down my order of operations over here. And I'm going to start with groupings. Do I see any groupings here? No, I don't. There are no brackets. There are no parentheses. Do I see any exponents? No, there are no exponents. Do I see multiplications happening in this equation? Yes, I do. I see 3 times 5. Multiplication and divisions they're equal. I don't see any division, but I definitely have to do multiplications and divisions before I do additions and subtractions. So the first thing I need to do is multiply these together. 3 times 5 is 15. And now that I've dealt with all of the multiplication or division, I move on to addition and subtraction, and I do see an addition here. There's the plus sign. The 3 has already been used for this, so now I'm just going to do 2 plus 15. I'm just bringing these numbers down and rewriting the equation. And now I get my final answer of 17. Let's really quickly take a look at what would happen if I did that in the wrong order, if I didn't follow the order of operations rules. 2 plus 3 times 5. It's the same equation, but this time I'm going to do the addition before I do the multiplication. 2 plus 3 is 5. 5 times 5, because I haven't used the times on this 5 yet. Okay, so I'm just rewriting the multiplication. That's, of course, going to equal 25. You can see that this and this are very different answers. This is absolutely wrong because it did not follow the order of operations. So you can see why this is very important that you know how to do this, because it can lead you down a wrong path to a very wrong answer if you don't follow these GEMDAS rules. Okay? Let me give you another example. Let's take a look at this and just use the order of operations. First of all, do we see any groupings? Well, yes, I do. It's right here. So I need to do what's in the parentheses first, and that is going to be a 30. I can just rewrite my equation, bring this part on down. So now I've just rewritten it to 30 plus 10 to the second power. Now, once I've rewritten it, I always go back to the first step in the order of operations again. I don't just pick up where I left off. I always have to start fresh whenever I rewrite the problem. So I go back to the G. Groupings. Do I see any groupings here? Nope, I don't, because I already got rid of this one and it just became a 30. Do I see any exponents? Well, yes, I do. There's a 10 to the second power. 10 to the second power means 10 times 10, which is 100. Rewriting the equation, now I have 30 plus 100. You then, of course, just add those together and you get 130 for your answer. If you didn't follow the order of operations, and I'm not going to calculate this right now, but if you had done 30 plus 10, which equals 40, and then done 40 to the second power, that means 40 times 40, which if you just do the zero trick means 1600. Okay, so 1600 is a very different number than 130. So I hope this little refresher about how to use the order of operations helps you out a little bit. You do have some problems that you're going to have to be solving this week, this next week actually, the week of April 30th, to solve some problems using your knowledge of order of operations. So watch this video first just to refresh yourself how it works, and then you can dig in. One last thing I should actually show you before we move on and out of this video. You can sometimes see something like this. If you see something like that where you've got parentheses happening inside of square brackets, those are two different kinds of groupings. Those are both groupings. Always do the square brackets first. Square brackets come before parentheses, okay? So look at the square brackets, because you can have more of your equation out here, which I'm not going to write anymore, but always do what's in these brackets first. So just look at everything that's inside the brackets now, and then start with your order of operations all over again. Inside the brackets, do I have any groupings? Yes, I do. I have 5 times 2 inside of parentheses, so 5 times 2 would equal 10. And if I rewrite what's in the brackets, that's what I end up with. And that, of course, turns out to be 13. Now, if there had been more of your equation out here, like, times 2 or something like that, then you would just be doing 13 times 2, which equals 26. Hopefully that makes sense. That shows you how to use brackets and parentheses when you're looking at order of operations and trying to figure out what to do first. So hopefully that helps you out doing your problems. And let me know if you have any questions. And good luck. Talk to you later. Bye.